Hi, I'm John Newton, aka Snap-on John 100, and you are watching Wilderness Self-Reliance. Today we're going to hang some hammocks, and I've got poly webbing, and we're also going to use a rope because some of the hammocks come with ropes, so we're going to show both styles. So we've selected these two trees because they're about 6 paces apart. So that puts them about between 12 and 15 feet apart, which is the ideal distance in order to have your hammock hanging from just above head level on both sides. The tree straps I'm using are poly. They're 1 inch wide, and they're also extra long depending on how much space I have between the trees and also how large the tree is. If the tree is large and I need a lot of space, I just use this loop in the end and fasten it on this way. But I've got all this extra, so when I got a smaller tree and I'm in a more ideal distance, I just find the center, wrap it around, and then just make a girth hitch right here with that. And now I don't have so much dangling down, and I've got a wider space here to help protect the bark. The knot I'm going to use to hang my hammock suspension line is called a Marlin spike hitch. The way you create it is you form an overhand loop in the line, fold it back on itself, and reach through the loop and grab the standing line. And then you put a stick or toggle in there and then tighten the knot. And then when you hang your hammock suspension, you make sure you hang the hammock suspension on the knot, not on this stick, because it will break. The other method that I use, I don't bother using a stick. I use something that's stronger. I use a carabiner. And so I just leave that right there. I put a carabiner, a climbing rated carabiner, not the one for a keychain, but a climbing rated one. And then that's what I now have a spot right here that I hang my suspension from. And that's how I do it. This tree strap came from Winter Outfitters, this hammock. So what it utilizes is a rope, and then it's got a portion here to help protect the tree, because if you just tie ropes around a tree, it bites into the bark and can damage them. So same thing, this has a looped end, and we're just going to be bringing the other end through that loop. I'm going to slide it down because the tree's small. So I've just got a small loop here. Come around, make it a little bigger, reach through, grab the 2 ends of the rope, which they're knotted, and then I pull that tight, and that forms a great system for hanging a hammock. Now this has knotted portions in it, so you can clip on to any spot here depending on how far away you have to be. And with this one right now, since the trees are the perfect distance apart, I'm going to go ahead and use the same Marlin spike hitch on this that I did on the other one. So once again, I make an overhand loop across the top, fold it up on itself, reach behind, grab that, and now I'm using a tent stake for my spike. Then I pull this tight. Okay, and now I hang it on the back side of this knot. Once again, it's not on this because this will bend also. And that's the other way when you've got this rope that you can hang your hammock. The beauty of this type knot is when you're ready to go, especially if it's been raining or anything, you don't have knots that are hard to untie. You just pull the toggle out and it comes out really easily. This Winter Outfitters hammock comes with carabiners attached to the ends, and since there's not much line here, I'm not going to attach way up here. I'm going to use this loop down here and see how it works out for this end. because what we're trying to do is we're trying to get a 30-degree angle, which is about like here on both sides. And in order to do that, you do the 30-degree angle so that your hammock has enough droop or sag in it so that when you lie down, you can lie diagonally and have the hammock completely flatten out. If it's too tight, you're not going to have enough material to flatten it out completely. So you want that 30-degree angle is fairly critical. So let's go ahead and put this side over here on. So we're going to hook this up over here. And since we have a carabiner on the end, we don't need this toggle in here. So I'm just going to attach the carabiner to the same spot where the toggle was. The angle you're trying to get with 30 degrees is from the horizontal up here. It's in here, this angle right there. The easy way to check it is just with your fingers from the tip of your thumb to the tip of your index finger. When your thumb is straight up, you want to be able to have this line running right down like this. And this one is a little bit, it should be up more like this. So in order to fix that, we need to bring the hammock up a little bit more up this way. So I'm going to readjust that Marlin spike knot. Just take it out, and because I'll show you if I lengthen it, it's worse. See, that's a lot longer, so we need to make it shorter. So we're going to take this out. I'm going to start up higher, overhand loop. So you just fold it over itself, then flip it up on itself, and then reach behind with your carabiner. Try to keep my fingers out of the way so you can see. Right in through here. There we go. So the carabiner's in there. Now I'm going to try to tighten this up higher. Dress the knot a little bit. It's a lot. This knot's harder with this rope. It's easier with a tree strap. Okay, so now that's tight right there. And that looks about right. You hold your hand up with your thumb straight up. This is roughly 30 degrees from here to here, this angle right in there. So now we're going to lower the whole hammock because the hammock height is too high. So I'm just going to come up here and just loosen this a little bit. That's the beauty of the way this is hooked on, and it'll slide right down the tree. And I can retighten it. I'll do the same thing over here. See where that comes here. Okay, so I'll check the angle here on this one. And this one's a little bit lower, but I think it'll still work because it's just off a little bit. That might be about 35 degrees or so. So what you want to do is you want to try to get your hammock so it's chair height. This is still a little too high. And you notice that this end is higher than that end. So the way I like my hammock is I like my feet slightly higher than my head. So I'm going to keep this side higher than that side, but it's still too high. So I'm going to lower it a little more. Okay. And just lower this one just a little tiny bit. And we'll see how that works. I took my knife off because you want to make sure you don't have anything sharp sticking out of your pants or anything like that when you're sitting in your hammock, because you will tear it. So I'm just going to drop this into the little handy bag that the hammock folds into. Carefully spread the hammock apart and sit down in it. And this is about perfect because I can put my feet down And then to stand up, I just roll back and stand right up like that. So now I want to test it to see if I got a good sweet spot. And so I lie diagonal to it. And this is a very comfortable lie, for me anyway. And so that's just about perfect. You'll find that you just need to fiddle with how high it is, or how long your suspension lines are, to get it to where it feels really comfortable to you. But this is good for me. I don't feel any pinching or anything like that. You'll get shoulder pinch if your hammock is strung too tight. That's why you want to make sure you got plenty of sag. But this is perfect. And what a nice way to take a nap, with it rocking back and forth.